We are back, folks, with another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider with one of the finest prospects in America. And I'm excited because I think this is the best corner in the country. I got to put arguably in front of it because I don't do the rankings. But in my opinion, the best corner in the country out of Loyola Blakefield, Mr. Khary Adams. Khary, how you doing?
I'm good.
Man, like I said, I'm excited because I check the tape. I see length, I see speed, I see ball skills, I see all the tools, man. Before we even talk recruiting, I want to talk game. I want to talk skills. I gave a description of what I see when I check the tape. I like to have guys give their own personal description. So when we put the tape of Khary Adams on, you tell the folks what they're going to see.
They're going to see, I would say I'm a lead playmaker, and I can shut down guys. And then when the ball in the air, I know how to go get it.
So, corner has to be able to obviously play the man across from him. You got to be able to match up. But a lot of guys can play the physical game. They can play the ball, but they can't turn and run. And that, to me, is the part that really, really sets you apart. I mean, you can turn and run with any guy in the country. And the part that impresses me the most is it seems like you're getting faster, man. So what's the top end speed? How fast are you?
I'm pretty fast.
Like put a clock on it. I mean, what's the fastest you've timed?
At time, I only ran 100 this year, 10.70. I can go fast.
You can go faster?
I slipped out the blocks on that.
Okay.
So I can go faster.
Okay, so from a track standpoint, is that something you aspire to do at the college level, or is that's going to end once you get to?
That's going to end.
That's going to end?
Yeah.
So is that something you do to just kind of get your speed up for football?
Yeah, stay in shape, get the speed up.
Okay, all right. So let's take it to the football field, man. It's one of those things that, guys, as they come up in the game, they start to realize two things. One, when they get the love for the game, and then two, when they start to realize I'm a little better than the rest of these guys doing this. So when were those 2 points for you? When did you start to realize you had that love for the game? And when did you start to realize that you were a little bit better than your contemporaries out there on the field?
I knew it was better since rec. I was dominating, and then I just always loved it.
So from day one?
Yeah, I like to compete.
So the other part that I like to kind of get into, the offense-defense thing, because, guys who gravitate to defense, I feel like that's a mentality.
For sure.
Man, I mean, no, I'm not slighting the offensive guys, but, defense, you gotta,
mentality.
Yeah, so mentality, there's a little bit different side of you when you want to go out there and hit. You gotta have a little edge to you. So was it always that side of the ball for you?
I played offense until high school. This was my second year playing corner.
Okay.
Yeah, but I always played safety. So I was just.
So what made you make the transition to defense full time?
Defense just felt nice. I don't know. It felt good to just hit people.
Okay. All right. So is there a player in college or the pros that you compare yourself to or you try to emulate when you're out there on the football field?
I wouldn't say compare, but I like Patrick Surtain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that, when you kind of go out there and coaches kind of watch you, is that somebody that they say that you kind of put them in the mind of?
Yeah, they would say Patrick Surtain or Joey Porter.
Okay, yeah. Nah, that's definitely a dude with some edge to him. So now you seem like a kind of a laid back guy to talk to. Is there a switch that flips when you get on the field?
Oh yeah, on the field it's different.
Okay.
I'm normally pretty chill off the field though.
Okay, are you a talker on the field?
Oh, yeah, I talk.
Okay, all right. So you got to get after it in that way on the field. Yeah. So on the recruiting side, man, it feels also like that part of it has really picked up steam. We know the recruiting side of it picked up, but it feels like the rankings have kind of shot up, almost as if they were kind of sleeping on you before. I don't know if you feel that way. It certainly feels that way to me. Did you feel that?
Yeah, they still sleeping though. It definitely picked up though.
Did that bother you at all?
how low I was.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't bother me, but it was like I just knew I was better.
Because some dudes, not to say that they're preoccupied with it, but it can be like fuel. You can kind of use it as a motivation.
I use it as motivation, but like, I didn't get bothered by it.
I got you. All right. So even if it was on the periphery, coaches didn't pay attention to it because they took notice,
For sure.
and the recruiting started to pick up. So when did that pick up steam? Like, did you notice like a turning point when the coaches started
I would
really?
say after junior year, it's like that week where they could come to school. I think I got like 20 offers in that week. So, yeah, I would
Okay.
say it like that.
All right. So that starts to pick up, and schools really start to ratchet up the attention.
Yeah.
When did you notice Michigan really start to pick up the attention?
Well, Michigan, they've been recruiting me like during the season, but they was gonna offer me in person, just gonna come to the school. So I would say like towards like the middle of the season. Yeah.
So Coach Lamar Morgan, it felt like just following your recruitment, like the personal relationship and the vibe. Let's set the coaching aside. I'm curious about the vibe between y'all. What's that like?
Nah, it's good vibes. He's a good dude. Yeah, it's good vibes.
There's a development side of it that you really gotta find in a coach, and then there's that personal click and connection. Do you feel like you got that with him?
Yeah, definitely. He was taking 2 stars, putting them in the league. Yeah, and then personal connection is good.
So now, but you obviously have that with a number of different coaches, a number of different schools on the board. So let's talk about, before we kind of dig into Michigan, let's talk about the schools that you've kind of honed in on. So for people who don't know, who are watching, that's the main camera for you. Kind of talk about the schools that you kind of honed in on and narrowed down to for people who haven't been following your recruitment.
I narrowed it down to Penn State, South Carolina, Michigan, Notre Dame, Oregon.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Penn State. What was it about Penn State that made you focus in on them?
Penn State, that was one of like my really early offers, and then they just showed love ever since. Showed me I'm a priority.
All right. South Carolina.
South Carolina, they jumped in like a little late, but it was love and then development, obviously.
Okay.
Which is great.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, development, education, good football. Yeah.
What about Marcus Freeman?
Coach Freeman, good dude, and he know how to win games.
And then Oregon. Oregon seemed like they've been checking in Maryland a lot more here in recent years.
Oregon, if you look at the development where they came from other schools, it was good development, and then it's elite people up there, great coaching.
You know Brandon Finney at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Has he been recruiting you?
A little bit.
Okay. All right. So getting back over to Michigan, get out on a couple visits. What would you say the first time that you came to Michigan? What stood out to you the most the last time
The people,
you were in Michigan?
like the people just different. Like it's good people.
And was there anything different? Like, so now you come back for your official. What was your biggest takeaway coming back the second time to Michigan?
Well, I really wanted to see development, like the strength and conditioning, and I think it was good how they broke that down and showed me. Yeah.
So you look at last year, for instance, they started out, it was a bit up and down, right? And then, you get about the middle of the year, and it's like not only was the offense sputtering, but they had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
The secondary, especially Will Johnson's out. And then they get in that Ohio State game, and they're like 4 touchdown underdogs. You got a dude who was at safety, then he moves to nickel, now he's at corner. And then they go out and they beat Ohio State and they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by that, or were you?
I mean, I was surprised, yeah.
So what did you think? I mean, did that affect how you looked at them when you saw that?
Nah, not really, but I mean, it's like they dogs. If you gonna win, you gonna win. Yeah.
So now when you see that though, that specifically, when you see a dude who was at safety, then nickel, then plays corner, and balls out, did you notice that at the time, or was that something that they kind of brought out?
I noticed it. It's good, like they put you in positions to where you go to the NFL. They say, can you play different positions? They can say, yeah, and pull up the tape.
All right. So now, you specifically, though, they're looking at you at corner. Now, did they talk to you about what the depth chart looks like and playing time? Is that available?
Definitely, most definitely available.
Out the gate?
Early.
early playing time. So you would have a chance to compete for a starting spot immediately?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so let's get into the other coaches. So you said the people. We know you got a vibe with Coach Lamar. What about Coach Wink? What did you think of Coach Wink?
Good dude. And then I'm a Ravens guy too, so.
Okay.
Of course, the Ravens. So yeah.
Okay. What about the other people? What other interactions stood out to you while you were here?
Just like the assistants, it was all cool. Coach Stokes, cool. And then Coach Moore, pretty dope.
Okay. So, Michigan aside now, big picture, Khary, when you get ready to sit down and make your decision, what are going to be the biggest factors in that choice?
Development, the people, strength and conditioning, and then the scheme, and just is the opportunity to play.
So, every guy kind of looks at a couple other factors.
Yeah.
One of them, how big of a factor will distance be in your decision?
I ain't really too big on it because once I'm up there, I'm not really coming home.
So, so what about, mamas don't like their babies to go too far from home. Would you talk to your people about that? What they say about distance?
Same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you got the NIL factor. Every guy got to look at NIL on some level. So from this standpoint, and I'm not even talking about any specific school, but some guys look at bottom line. What are they talking about putting on the table right now? Some guys look at what are you going to do to develop my brand. Some guys look at what are you going to do to market me. What kind of strategy are you looking at from an NIL perspective?
Like going into my decision? It's cool, but it's definitely a factor, but it's not like really the factor. So I'll just take it like a regular fit.
I got you. So now, timeline. Like, how much time are you going to take?
I'm going to make my decision June 28th.
So you're going to stick to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like for sure.
Sure, 100%.
Is there anything that could make you make a decision on one of these visits?
Nah.
100%.
100%. June 28th.
So I'm just saying, like, so obviously you didn't make a decision on the Michigan visit, but it's not like you could go to Notre Dame and just be blown away and just be like, it's over.
Nah.
I got you. All right. So now, as you move ahead, you're kind of getting into the nitty gritty of going to visits and seeing what separates one school from another. They all have coaches that you like. Yeah. They all have development that you like. Like what are the things with all these schools that have things that you like? Have you kind of got in your mind what are going to be the things that separate one school from another?
Yeah, I would say, one, the opportunity to play early, and the development, and then, the scheme.
So you say development, and this is what I'm trying to get a bead on. How do you assess development? Do you look at how many guys they put into the NFL, and are you looking at it like specifically the school or specifically that coach?
I'm looking at the coach.
That coach, like, because some coaches are like, okay, that school put 10 DBs in the league, but it wasn't you.
Yeah,
you wasn't there.
Looking at the coach.
That particular coach. All right, or it could be, hey, this coach, I'm watching how you develop guys. I'm watching your coaching style, that kind of thing. So that's why like, how are you assessing development?
It's going off the coach, where he was previously, seeing what he was doing, because most of them had worse guys, and if they put them in the league, that's development.
Okay, and then as far as your process is concerned, like how are you gonna do it? Is it like a round table thing where you sit down with your people and make the decision collectively, or some dudes say, I sit down with my people and I take their input, and then I go and I make that decision myself after I take their input? How you gonna do it?
I'm gonna get their input, but I'm gonna make my decision.
You gonna make your decision?
Yeah.
I got you. All right, so Khary, you move down the line and you and your decision is out the way and you're in your senior year. We want to come watch you play. What's the prime time games to come see you do your thing?
Any game, I'm gonna do my thing.
I get that. I understand. Well, I guess I didn't ask the question right. Excuse me for getting the question wrong. What are the big time games on the schedule? I know you're going to do your thing in every game, but what are the marquee games on the schedule?
I would say
come watch?
Well, the first game was good. And then Gonzaga, got Spalding, McDonough. Yeah, that's really it.
We got to come to that Gonzaga game. That sounds like a big Dunner. That's a big time game. Come see you against Nick. Hey, so hey man, I mean you got some schools in common with some dudes. Are you talking to any guys about maybe y'all could go? Not to say your decision depends on what somebody else does, but are you talking to any dudes about teaming up together and making it like a Fab Five type thing?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
Okay, all right. And last but certainly not least, man, is last two questions. Number one, nobody does this in your position does this alone. You know, you've become one of the top prospects in the country, and you did it with a lot of support. You got a lot of people in your circle holding you down, holding you accountable, picking you up when you need to be picked up, you know, praising you when you and celebrating with you when you do well, right? So shout those people out right now for holding you down and propping you up. Shout them out.
My parents, and then my trainer, Montre Gregory, and then all the coaches I had in school.
Yeah, man, you know, it's a village, man, that helps you along the way.
Yeah.
So appreciate you. And last but certainly not least, what are the things, this is my last question, it's about Michigan. What are the things that you would say you like the most about Michigan in a nutshell? And what would you say coming out of 2 visits now, the biggest question you have about Michigan still at this point?
Things I like the most, like stood out. It gotta be Coach Tress, strength and conditioning. Coach Moore and his just what he got going on in the culture, and then going back to the people.
And your biggest question would be what?
My biggest question? I don't know. I don't really know.
You can't even figure out a question at this point, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, Khary, hey man, the biggest question that people have is, where is this big time player gonna wind up? Inquiring minds gonna have to wait to see, man. We appreciate you taking the time because, man, this is one that I've been wanting to sit down with you. So I appreciate you, man, for taking the time out your visit. So thanks a lot.
No problem.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Khary Adams, one of the best in America, here on the Michigan Recruiting Insider. We'll see you next time.